everyone, welcome to Popcorn Anatomy. My name is Ursula and I'm going to be your host this week just like I am every week. So the Star Wars Rogue One trailer was released just last week, increasing the hype to level extreme. Of course, this means fan theories galore, but as you already know, fan theories aren't always good news. In fact, more often than not, they suck. So to celebrate how happy we all are that Rogue One is being released this year, I decided to make a video that would make you guys laugh. Here are, in no particular order, 5 of the most ridiculous Star Wars theories you will ever hear. Number 1. Bray is Luke's father. Ever since The Force Awakens finally came out in December last year, so many people have been coming up with their own theories. And let's be honest, only a handful of them are good. One of the most, original ones I found is a theory that Rey is a reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. According to this theory, the Chosen One is a being that reincarnates itself whenever it dies. The so-called proof is simply a bunch of circumstantial evidence, like the fact that both characters come from sand planets and are good with machines and strong with the Force. And apparently, Rey looks like Anakin's mother too. I mean, seriously? Rey looks like Shmi Skywalker? How? Maybe the eyes? Nope. Eyes are a different color too, but the outside of their eyes are both white. Well, there you have it. Both Rey and Shmi have the same white eyeballs. Other than that, they don't look very much alike at all. And she has the same hobbies as Anakin, which must mean they're the same person, right? Another thing they like to say is that Rey gets all the flashbacks when touching Anakin's lightsaber because the lightsaber is hers. This conveniently leaves out the Knights of Ren flashback, along with a bunch of others which Anakin wasn't there to see. But no matter how full of holes the theory is, it's given birth to a whole bunch of even worse variations of itself. Rey is genetically engineered. Rey is a clone of Shmi. Rey is a reincarnation of Luke's kid. Rey is literally the Force. Just leave Rey alone, guys. Number 2. Star Wars takes place in our galaxy. Another great, or should I say horrible, theory is that Star Wars takes place in our galaxy. This all began with the movie E.T. Not what you're expecting, right? Because George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are such good friends and have done so many projects together, Mr. Spielberg decided to pay homage to his best friend by putting a Star Wars reference in what is perhaps his most famous film. In it, we see E.T. trick-or-treating with his own human friends when he spots a kid dressed as Yoda and says, "Home." Then in Star Wars Episode 1, we see a couple of aliens that look like E.T. sitting in the Senate chamber, which of course is George Lucas's nod to Steven Spielberg. Whether this means that E.T. is a Jedi is up to you, but some people have blown it way out of proportion and said that the famous intro at the beginning of each Star Wars movie is a lie, and that the universe takes place in our Milky Way. Others have taken it to a whole new level and said that Star Wars takes place in a universe where Star Wars movies exist, making Lucas himself a character who was told the story by Jar Jar and a couple of others in order to then make a film franchise. Is your brain hurt yet? Number 3. The Lars family are allies of Darth Maul. I'm just gonna cut to the chase with this one. This theory only has 2 things backing it up, and in my opinion, it's not even real evidence. The first is the tribal-looking patterns on their ceiling, supposedly looking like Darth Maul's tattoos. This is kind of funny considering they don't actually look anything like Darth Maul's tattoos, and even if they did, why would they have them done on their ceiling? Is it like a sign of respect or something to have your friend's tattoos painted on your walls in Tatooine? Another thing that supposedly links the poor Lars family to Darth Maul is that they call Obi-Wan a crazy old man, which we all know is because of their plan to keep Luke safe. This doesn't make sense on so many levels that it would take too much time for me to explain, so I'm just going to go with the simplest one. Episode 4 was made on a low budget at a time when George Lucas had no idea that he was going to make the prequels or that Darth Maul would even exist. Number 4. Stormtroopers miss on purpose. This is one of those theories that kinda makes sense at first sight, but when you start to think about it, you eventually get to the conclusion that it really doesn't make any sense at all. We know that the Stormtroopers, at least in episodes 4, 5, and 6, have terrible aim. However, they're supposed to be the best army in the galaxy, and in episode 4, there are actually moments at the beginning in which they do hit their targets. In addition, Darth Vader wants Luke alive, so it's not like it was their intent to kill him anyway. But there are just so many things that reject this theory. Yes, Vader wants Luke alive, but there's no rule against wounding Luke so he doesn't get away time and time again. The same goes for Leia, but there's no reason at all to keep Han alive. If the Stormtroopers missed on purpose and were really that good, they could have killed Han on so many instances, and if they were really that smart, they could have trapped the heroes in a bullet wall, forcing them to surrender. Look, the real reason Stormtroopers miss is because it's a movie, and the heroes win. Number 5. Jar Jar is a Sith Lord. Out of all the bad Star Wars theories, this is actually my favorite because it's the funniest one. This theory suggests that Jar Jar wasn't simply a grave mistake made by George Lucas in the prequels. He's the powerful and influential element to strategic plot that the rest of us were too stupid to notice. According to this theory, Jar Jar practices the art of the drunken fist, meaning he strategically makes a bunch of mistakes to lead people off and eventually causes collateral damage. This theory also suggests that Jar Jar was banished from the Gungans not because he was clumsy, but because he couldn't be trusted. Apparently, he distrusts Padme and doesn't pay attention to her when she gives orders, and enhances the passion between the two in order to turn Anakin over to the dark side. Oh, and he uses the Force to jump as high as he does. I mean, that's all fine and good, but I have my own theory. Jar Jar makes his damaging mistakes because he's stupid. He was banished from his home because he's stupid. He doesn't pay attention to Padme because he's stupid, and he finds Padme attractive because she's played by Natalie Portman, and jumps as high as he does because his amphibious species can do that. I hope none of these theories ruin Star Wars for you, and that you watch Rogue One when it comes out December 18th. If you want to watch my top 5 best Star Wars theories video, subscribe or come by next week. There's some really interesting ones in there for you to keep in mind for when we approach Episode 8, and others that'll really explain the franchise better. Other than that, please give this video a like, and tell me what you want me to talk about next. See you next week on Popcorn Anatomy.